Hi, everyone. Welcome back to ARC Encounter. I'm your host, Maha, and I'm so excited to walk on this ARC path with you. Today, we have a very special guest. He's a VIP, and he's going to share with us how he encounters stewardship through the lens of mindset. And of course, our guide today is Casey Cox. I'm looking forward to this conversation, so tune in, get plugged in, and here we go. Let's begin our ARC Encounter journey with this video.
Lifestyle path to better choices. It empowers us to live life to the fullest and paves the way for people like you and me to discover our unique purpose and passion. Choosing to walk the ARC path invites transformation and growth in 5 key areas of life: leadership, communication, mindset, community, and lifestyle. As we dive into these lenses, they redirect our focus and guide us into a deeper understanding of where we're at today and where we're going tomorrow. This is ARC Encounter. Welcome to the ARC Path.
Hey, well, welcome again to the ARC Encounter. My name is Casey and I am the guide today. And what an amazing opportunity we are going to bring to you to unpack mindset through a lens of stewardship. And as we look at mindset, we recognize that, it's not just about making decisions in the moment. It's about having an anchor and a conviction that says, this is what I'm about. This is the guide by which I'll make my focus. And mindset really brings out a big word called a paradigm. It's a lens of saying, this is how I'm going to see things happen over and over and over again, because I'm going to anchor my life on these principles. Again, those are big words. We're going to make it so much simpler as we look at stewardship, because stewardship is an opportunity for you to maximize life. And we're going to maximize life in these 3 unique lenses: our time, our energy, and our wealth. Because all of those are concepts that we need and we can expand to get the most out of it. So welcome to the opportunity to find your mindset and your principles of stewardship to make life better. In order for you to find out how life can be better, I brought the best guest I could find, someone who's mentored me in business, in life, and on this journey we've found an amazing friendship, and he's not new to the ARC Encounter. I welcome you to the guest of the day, Bernard Bachoura. Welcome, Bernard. How are you today?
I'm wonderful, Casey. Thank you.
It's not your first time on an ARC Encounter, is it?
Not my first time.
And not your last time.
Not my last time.
But it is going to be the one time we're going to talk about stewardship, money, success, time, maximization, the things you live every day.
Thank you. Well, it's a topic that I celebrate, and it's a lot of hard work.
A lot of hard. It's not easy being you, is it?
It's not. I celebrate being me.
Now, Bernard, I've been around you a few years, and I recognize that in certain circles, you are a VIP.
Oh, okay. I like that.
When you're on cruise ships, you get the better room.
Okay.
When we're around the family, your family, you get the microphone.
Yep.
When we are traveling, you do get the better hotel room, and you make sure that it's going to go well. And anytime Claudia throws a party, you have the table of the seat of honor. Are those things true?
Yes.
Those are why Bernard is a VIP externally. So here's where we're going. When you're a VIP because somebody else tells you you're a VIP, it's on the outside looking in.
Yes.
But on the ARC Encounter, we talk about VIP from the inside looking out. So no longer is it about you being a very important person. It's about you living into your values, your identity, and your purpose.
Yes.
So through the lens of stewardship, give us some insight on values and identity and purpose, just in general. How does that play out from an internal conviction?
Well, you know what? It really begins with inheritance. I mean, it's just
what a great place to start with stewardship.
Yeah. It's one of the things that just kind of it's what you received. It's a starting point to the topic. It's been a starting point in my life. It's interesting as I've lived this lifestyle that you described. I wasn't the original one. It was something I inherited. It was something as I pursued, as I lived with different mentors, different people in my life, not just family, others that kind of came into my life. They lived these values. They lived these lifestyles, and it wasn't just a it was a lifestyle of abundance, but I didn't understand it at the time. I looked at how they were living in terms of caring for themselves, caring for their family, their community, caring for the people that they connected with. And I was like, oh, I want that in my life. I want to live like that. I want to honor my family. When I travel, if people don't understand, it costs a little bit more to travel a lot better. That's a concept most people just don't get. And but I wasn't the originator of that.
No.
I inherited that.
And I want to clarify for you as a listener, Bernard's not talking about inheriting billions so that you can steward money. Are you?
No.
No. This is not about, if I
No.
just had more, then I could be a better steward. In fact, the reality is the studies show that if you inherit a lot of money, the chances of you doing well with it are diminished. And so bring us a little bit more into this inheritance concept, because it's not just tied to wealth. It is about energy, it's about time, but it's also about mentorship.
Yes. And really, and that's where it began. That is the inheritance my biggest inheritance is the people that really that kind of came into my world, and they took me on, and they took me on. They spent time and energy talking to me, educating me, mentoring me. Most importantly, is loving and caring for me. The abundance of that, it's what I inherited, because if you ask me, go, well, wait a minute. Why doesn't everybody get that? I don't know. Wherever I was, it wasn't that, my parents said, hey, you know what? We have a prodigy child. We want to get the best. And that wasn't it.
That wasn't what they said?
That wasn't what they said.
How did they miss that?
I don't know.
I mean,
we'll call them after.
but your experience is you didn't have an experience that said you're better than everybody else.
No. And far from that. It was just these amazing people, and for me, they were ordinary people. In hindsight, I look back and go, what extraordinary group of people that I've been fortunate to really come and speak into my life, and more importantly, is just show me there is a better way to live.
So give me a couple of the values that you found in the community of the culture that you were loved in, that you were it resonated so deeply with you. How does that carry through today?
Well, you know what? It begins with a service lifestyle, I guess.
Okay.
And so one of the things coming from our community is whatever a community member needs, you show up, and whether it's convenient or not convenient, somebody needs help in your circle, you show up. And it wasn't, early on in my youth, it was fun. Sometimes it was inconvenient and I had to go do something, but I'm going to show up. That set the stage for my business life. And for me, it's always been that. It's whether it's a client, it's a vendor, it's an employee, it's a partner, whatever it is, somebody needs something, you show up.
So the mindset that I'm hearing as it kind of set up to go into stewardship is show up and serve.
Yes.
Show up and serve.
Yes.
And do so because you can make a difference.
Yes. But where we get hung up again, as I try to give that away, is because it's time, energy, and money. And it's that money. Oh, it's every time you start with that, every time you set your sight on that, it just goes sideways.
We almost, it's like, oh, I got one, I got two, and then you get the third and you can't juggle any longer. It's like I can throw the two balls in the air and kind of catch them, but I put a third one in and I lose it every time.
And it's difficult because in today's culture, it's a lot like that. It's that focus of, well, that is the end goal, so let's just start there. And you cannot start with that in mind. And that's, as I look back on my upbringing, my career, the mentors that really mentored me in my life, I don't recall a single one where that was the focal point. That was the focal point, is you need to go out and you need to start with a lot of money. Focus on that. It was no, you go out and you serve.
So the inheritance wasn't the wealth or the dollar figure. The inheritance was a mentality that showed you how you could go make a living and contribute to the world around you.
Yes, connect with the world around me, serve the world around me, and celebrate. Again, there was a we use that on the AHRK path a lot, but I didn't know what it was. There was always a culmination to the service, because when you serve, there is a celebration.
And so I'll bring that to the point that we're going to jump into the ARC encounter, and the fact that what Bernard's sharing is he grew up living out the ARC path of this acknowledging, the healing, the restoring, and the kingdom, but he didn't know it as such. And maybe this is your first time encountering ARC to go, huh? I don't get it. And that's okay, because you didn't get it until you lived it and look back in hindsight to say, oh, there is a better way to do this.
Yes.
And now you're articulating it. So we're going to invite you to learn to articulate a better way of living life and make it a lifestyle of choices. So let's jump into the A of acknowledgement and the ARC encounter. And what we're going to acknowledge is this choice of perception. And Bernard, what you're sharing, as you use the word inheritance, you're seeing it as a bigger word. Maybe some people get stuck thinking, well, what is my inheritance? My parents didn't leave me anything because they were waiting to the end of their lives to inherit.
Yes.
You changed the paradigm, mindset.
Well, you know what? That was the mindset for me, is the celebration as these people lived. Again, when they poured this much into my life, recognizing that they weren't just giving me a pattern, that it was a whole package. And all I had to do was celebrate that and choose that. And what that did is it replaced what I had known before.
So let's go with what you had known before being replaced. I'm going to call those assumptions.
Yeah.
So there were assumptions that you were operating in. And then when you acknowledge something bigger, you go, that assumption didn't work.
Yes.
What are those assumptions that you find people are still making about stewardship in general?
It's fear of the unknown. I think early on I got on a path where, to go out and travel from a sales position to, there's so many travel related tasks that I had to do as a young man starting out my business and starting out in business. And there was that fear of the unknown. And you're going to a certain place and you're connecting with people that you just don't know. Unknown. And there was a certain lens by which that happens. And there's so much pushback against that. It's like, well, why? You just make it happen here. Why go out and get it happen? And people that mentored me in that is like, no, it's okay.
I might say that the assumption is that you should be in control.
Yeah, well.
And here you're sharing the other lens going, I'm not in control. Yes. There's a lot of unknown.
Yes.
There's a lot of risk.
Yes.
And stewardship invites you to hedge your bet and make the best choice.
Yes.
You might lose.
Yes.
You might win. In stewardship, you want to win more than you lose.
Well, and do you trust the people that are around you? That's to overcome that fear, to win. Mm-hmm. You have to trust, and it's comfort.
It's important. And what do we do in order to trust? We have to heal, because we've been wounded. We've had people let us down. No matter how good your parents were or they are today, at some point, they probably let you down. And if you're saying, nope, not my parents, I'm going to invite you to step back and acknowledge there might be another story. That's a whole nother conversation. But as we go forward here, we talk about healing. And when somebody breaks trust,
yes.
Do we just wipe them off and leave them behind?
Well, and that's a big reality in the world, and that's it goes back to your values and your upbringing. What did you grow up with? How do you deal with events in your life? And that's a big part of that inheritance. And what I love about stewardship as a concept is you have to acknowledge, what do you have? What did you get? And so if the pattern that you received was, hey, when the going gets tough, you get going, what are you going to live out? That's that value. I'm having a rough patch. I'm afraid. I'm scared. I'm just going to move on. And that becomes that pattern in your life. That's not a healthy pattern. Mm-mm. And so, we need to heal from that pattern. For me, the pattern there was, to travel into the unknown, there was fear in that. I had to overcome that.
And how did your family give you a platform to make mistakes?
It was just a lot of grace. For me, I remember as a young man, I could make big mistakes with my dad, and it was okay. It's the small mistakes that were not okay. But you know what? We laugh at that, but for me, that was life changing
Yeah.
because I could handle this. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna beat you're your biggest advocate. You're gonna beat yourself up, but a big mistake, you're gonna beat yourself up harder than anybody else. And for me, there was that grace that I got is that, you know what, I'm here with you. And so I was blessed in that reality and of how my father walked with me in that I could make no big mistake, and that he wouldn't be by my side.
And so I invite you to, you might not have the same story that Bernard has, as he talks about inheritance of family and values and being given permission to make a mistake. How wonderful it is to have that situation around him. And so if you're coming from a lens today that says, I don't have any of that, here's my invitation for you. Do you want that for somebody else? Do you want to create that as a legacy that you can give away to somebody else? And if so, it starts with you. It starts with you beginning to steward your time, your energy, and your mindset with your wealth today in order for you to begin to create wealth. So Bernard, as we move out of this place of, gosh, it can be hard, what does it look like to build a mindset around stewardship for somebody that doesn't have a platform to begin with?
It's follow somebody else. I think whatever you think your values are, whatever you think you understand, look for people around you that are walking in a healthy light. I think that's one of the, I believe there's a lot. And again, it's just most people don't believe that. I believe there's so many amazing mentors around us. I see them every day. I follow them every day. And so it begins with that inheritance. You're adding to your inheritance. I'm adding from you. I'm adding from him. I'm adding from her. It's like, you know what? You've paved the way, and again, I would talk about you again. You've paved the way in so many areas of your life that are successful. All I have to do is I say, yes, I want that in my life. And I have it. I don't have to.
Did you catch how easy that was? Because that's really what we're talking about here is, hey, I want that, and I'm going to grab it and take it in. It really what motivates Bernard and I on the ARC Encounter to create this ARC Path experience to make it available for you. It's why we're doing podcasts and seminars and courses, because we want you to be without excuse. We want you to find the path that says, if it's available, I want it. And so as we talk about stewardship today of time, of wealth, of energy, we want to give you the power to maximize everything. To come in here and go, hey, wait a minute, it's not just Bernard. I want that. Could you give that to me? And we go, yeah, we have an abundance. Not because we've accumulated so much, but because we know how to replace and build. We can give and give and give as an act of service, and then it replaces itself. And it generates because we lean into the R of the ARC path that says, let's progress, let's build, let's invest, and let's grow. A key element of that is responsibility. Speak to responsibility for just a second when it comes to stewardship.
Oh, you know what? There is a joy with responsibility that is hidden. There's something about a lot of times responsibility is put on us as a mantle, going, you need to be responsible for this. But there is a joy in responsibility that allows you to be accountable to yourself. When you start to understand your values and your identity, responsibility is that purpose element in your life. It's what allows you to live into that fullness with no regret, knowing that you did the best that you know how and that you could do. Mm-hmm. And it really lives into that element of, I'm living out my purpose. And it's anchored in that responsibility. But you have to shake off the burden that people put on you, going, because I think there's a responsibility and there's the burden of responsibility. Ooh, and those are two
You're pulling those things apart.
I am pulling them apart.
Yeah.
And I will pull them apart every single time.
And that's what we invite you to do is to pull some things apart. That's called acknowledging. There's a difference between responsibility and the burden of responsibility. And what Bernard just demonstrated is the ARC path is a cycle. We live through it. In this conversation, we've actually gone through the ARC path about 17 times. Did you catch it?
Yes.
We're living it. And we're inviting you to live it because we want to see you touch the kingdom experience. And for Bernard and I, that kingdom experience is a life of celebration. It is traveling to the next level. It's celebrating life to the full. And for us, we have an understanding that you're invited to the party too. Did you get your invitation? If you didn't get your invitation, go look for it. And if you still can't find it, raise your hand and say, I want to come. I want to play. Are you throwing a party?
All the time. All the time. You know what? It's just, you have to throw parties. And I'm not talking about party events. It's every day I show up to work. Every day I come home. There has to be a celebration. I'm not talking about music, lights. It's just being grateful.
Yeah.
For me, I didn't get there overnight. I finally understood through all, this lifestyle that we've been living is that you have to be grateful for every moment. And that becomes that celebration. That's that inheritance, regardless of where you started out. When you walk through the AHRK path and you get to this kingdom mindset, because it is a mindset, guys. It's not going, but you don't know what I got. No, you don't know what I got, but I will tell you where I'm at today. And it wasn't something that, it's stuff that you leave behind, but you just by grabbing things as you go along the AHRK path.
Yeah. And so as we kind of wrap this up, the invitation for you is to recognize that you have in your possession time, 24 hours a day, energy, you have it all. It's all available. And wealth, it's there for you too. And we invite you to become the CEO of your life. Treat it like it's such. You're responsible. You're invited to have a mindset of abundance and live into it today, even if yesterday you didn't. Choose today to do it better. So welcome to the AHRK path. Your encounter today was with Bernard Bachoura, who's been living a VIP life for a long time, but it's the depth of conviction on the inside that makes it transferable to the rest of the world around us. And that's what we're here to do, is to give you a lens into a VIP. Hopefully your VIP. So here's Maha to tell you how you can develop your VIP on the AHRK path.
Wow, what Bernard inherited is beautiful. And we're talking about more than just monetary wealth here. One of the things that he inherited is a heart for stewardship. And his heart begins with showing up and serving people. I love that. And just like Casey mentioned, I believe that mentality is available to all of us. I hope this was inspiring for you today. If you'd like to hear more stories like this, come visit our website at arcpath.com, our social media at AHRKpath, our app Circles Now, and we also have courses and awesome podcast sessions created by Casey Cox and Bernard Bachoura. I've had a lot of fun with you today. I'm your host, Maha. Hope to see you next time at AHRK Encounter.